Good morning, Race, Gender, and Crime. This is Dr. Massnick, and as you know, you are an online course, but just to make sure that you are completely aware, all of my classes are online this semester, and it's supposed to be my semester off, so to speak, as well as Mr. Dewey and Miss Bradford's. So my videos will be coming to you from who knows where at the moment, because I'm actually taking a bunch of work vacations. So the first video I want to discuss with you is my introduction, who and what I am. So you guys wrote yours, I'm cheating and kind of doing mine in video. And a lot of things I would like you guys to try. I mean, if you're sick of discussion posts, I would rather see you potentially do a video because you actually end up giving me more information and it allows me to see that you understand the concepts better. And I will waive the two responses to other peers that you need to do if you go outside of the box and try and do something a little bit more exciting, different, and a little more challenging. So yeah, send videos. I think I'm just as sick of discussion boards as you are. The only thing is that when you upload your video, if you can put over into the side or whatever, I would like you to still include your sources because that's the one thing I'm super picky about. Once I get you to be able to do your APA format on your citations correctly, then I'll move on and pick on you on something else that's APA related because I want to get APA into you by the time you finish your degree and before you actually get to that capstone class, which is methods of research. Because at that point, that's basically what the entire class is APA format. And if you're going to go on to grad school or you're going to go out and work in the field, if you stay within this field, everything is written in APA. And so you kind of need to know what you're doing to be taken seriously. Not to mention, I didn't learn APA until I went on. IRSC did not have the baccalaureate level at that point. I went on to Florida Tech to get my bachelor's degree. And unfortunately, I did not know APA, and it was the most miserable, torturous semester, my first semester, that I didn't think I'd get through. Not because I couldn't do the material, but because I had so much to catch up with on APA. So, not meaning to be picky, but that's the way it is. So, I am going to be picky. Uh, let's see, what else about me? I am, if you have not heard, I teach outside the box, I work outside the box, I play and have fun outside of the box. I grew up in the Midwest in a small town in Ohio, which I will share little stories with you, especially in this class because it is race, gender, and crime. The gender and crime is not such a big deal with my growing up, but just to give you an idea, I did not meet anybody of any other ethnicity or color until high school and met one person who at that time preferred the title of going by African American. And Diane was lovely and fun and just like everybody else in the universe. And it never even crossed my mind that she was something of a different color. I'm predominantly Norwegian, which is something relatively new for me to find out. So I'm about as white as you can get, and this is like a month and a half of tanning outside on a boat. Yeah. So when Diane and her family moved away, another family eventually moved in. So it was really weird. And I say smart alecky things now to not offend people, but because I say them because they are so outrageous that it makes you look and go, wow, this racism thing is really pretty stupid. So it was like my town had no idea growing up, very racist. Like the sign when you pull into like here at Stewart, it says, "Welcome to Stewart, sailfish capital of the world." My town didn't say that. My town had a sign on it up until 1977. The sign was still there and used everybody's not favorite derogatory term that starts with N to describe black individuals and said, N, don't let the sun set on you here. That's horrific to think in 1977, really, in the scheme of things. Yes, I understand it's more than decades ago, but really, in the span of time, I was a kid. So it's not that long ago because I'm young. So just back off. But no, to think that in my lifetime, I think of prejudice and racism as the generation before me or before that. I never really, until I started teaching and studying, how relevant it is still today and how much it's more than just a black and white issue. We've hated everybody. You know, we came over on the Mayflower, and then after that, we just decided that anybody else that came over, you know, we weren't going to like them. We were horrific to the Italians, the Irish, the Chinese, which you've learned in all of our classes, that as long as they served a purpose, it was great. And when that purpose was over, or we got upset with them, we then became horrible individuals to that society. You also, I also learned that we had internment camps when we were in the war. We actually rounded up the Japanese and put them in camps here in the U.S. You would never imagine that we would have things like that on U.S. soil. That happened someplace else. No, it happened in our backyard. So I want you to get out of this class. This is how I teach all my classes. There is no politically correct. It's criminal justice. If I don't offend each and every one of you, then I didn't do my job, because history has shown over, you know, through the whole thing, that we just go from one to the next. We don't learn our lesson. We just continue on. So I'm going to bring that to your attention. I don't know what it's like to be the mother of a black son and have to worry about him going out there. I'm not the parent of an autistic child or a child on the spectrum and have to worry that his actions and behaviors might get him in trouble. Uh, there are lots of things, you know, coming from another country, you know, punishing your children in certain ways will get you thrown into prison here. So so my point is to bring all of those up, and you have every right to bring them up and to educate me as well as your classmates as to why you think, believe, or what it was like, and you have now changed in your, you know, from what your family thought, thinks, or brought you up to be. The only thing I ask is that if you're asking a question of another individual, if you are disagreeing with another individual, we're not going to say, you're an idiot for thinking like that. No, there's no derogatory, beating anybody down, whatever. What I want is, hey, interesting idea. I don't happen to agree with it, and tell them why. Or ask them, how did they think of that? Okay? I have friends that are of the Hispanic culture, okay? Not, you know, one that we deal with on a daily basis, Mexico, Guatemala, you know, Puerto Rico, Cuba. Um, one of the more violent um, Hispanic countries, and my family owns their own business. And these guys would come to work late, and I would get so aggravated because it would throw the day off. And I'm like, why are you guys late today? And they would, and I laugh about it now, because they spent 30 minutes running around chasing armadillos, or yeah, I think it was armadillos. It wasn't opossums, but I think it was armadillos, because they lived out in an Indian town, and for every armadillo, there were certain families and cultures that would pay them $50 for an armadillo because that's a delicacy for them. That's something that they would have eaten at home in their home country. And I'm like, what? Because they would bring me in food because I love Hispanic and Spanish food and whatever. And they would bring that into me. So I never had to pack my lunch. I always had this awesome, amazing, authentic lunch until the day they told me they were catching armadillos. And then Lunchables for me. Um, so just realize that it doesn't mean that somebody's backward or doesn't know better or that they're poor or that they have reasons where they come from, different animals. um, I happen to love monkeys. I know that they are horrifically mean and nasty, um, which makes why I love them. um, it's always fun to go to the zoo and then have them throw things at you. um, but my aunt is from Panama. They eat monkey on a stick. And when I was a kid, I cried. I'm like, what do you mean you're eating monkeys? So every culture has its own reason for doing things. We need to stop judging each other. Instead, we need to learn from one another. So that's what I want you to do. I'm giving you carte blanche to do that. If you say something that is inappropriate or offends somebody, I will send you a private message and show you how you could have done that in another way. And if we can't share and be adults and grown-ups about it, then then unfortunately I'll have to cut off and we'll have to be real world. This is what the book says. I hate it. Okay? I'd much rather have a conversation with you guys. We learn more that way. I'm very big on sending you links of what's going on right now. If you notice, I already posted a link which is quite appropriate for your discussion this week, asking about how the law works with racial or prejudicial issues. And Juneteenth is a very relevant one to that, and it's also a very recent one to that. So I think this is the very first year that that's actually been a federal holiday. No banks, no mail, no federal buildings open, um, paid holiday for most people. So pretty interesting. So that was an example of something current. So look outside the box. We don't have to go back to history, and it doesn't have to be black and white, meaning the color. Find something on something that relates to you. This is who I am. Okay? I am so open, and I want you to realize the fastest way to fail a class with me is to agree with everything I say. No, 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 no. You be you. If you are wrong legally or whatever, I will correct you in that manner. But this class is a lot of theory and a lot of your opinion is going to go into it. So opinions and feelings are not wrong. So if I say something, you're able to counteract me and say, Dr. M, I do not appreciate, and this is why we do what we do. And then, hello, help me learn something. Okay? Um, for example, I'm big on using myself to throw under the bus because I make mistakes all the time. So to let you learn from my mistakes and to see how prevalent or how sensitive people have gotten. Um, I believe in being respectful, but I don't believe in, this oversensitivity we have towards some things. But my uncle married, I told you he was in the military, he married someone from Panama, and I made the comment, his kids are beautiful. And then I said, you know what? I have noticed that it seems to be that biracial or multiracial children are just absolutely beautiful. Okay. My kids and grandkids, no, my grandkids are biracial. Um, but my son is not. He's about as white as white can get. And my uncle called me out in front of my whole family and said, that was a really racist comment. And I'm like, what? And he said, what you just said about the kids. And I'm like, yo, uncle, I just complimented your kids. And he said, yeah, but in the same time, you were putting down every other child. And I went, holy crap, I can be giving a compliment, but also being racist at the same time. So, and he did it just to be obnoxious, to put it in my face and show me how, even though the best of intentions can be perceived by some in a negative light. And that's what I did. I took away from that. To this day, I still watch what I say and wonder, wow, I meant it like this, but how did you take it? So if I say something, yeah, absolutely call me out, and because I'm always wanting to learn. Uh, okay, so that tells you who I am as a teacher. As a crazy individual, and I get bored very easily, which is why you're going to see videos of me every place, because I cannot sit still, because I just don't focus that well. I have too many things going through my head at the same time. Um, so not only am I one of your professors here at the college, I also founded the Institute for Cold Case Investigations, which I'm hoping you guys have heard of by now. We actually work with local law enforcement, and we did just solve our first case officially and had press conferences in March with Indian River County Sheriff. The Cold Case Institute is within your final class methods of research, but as it stands now, it is only in the face-to-face version, because I can't put evidence and information that's not privileged to the public online. I can't let that get out there. So if you want to work in the Cold Case Institute, make sure you sign up for the face-to-face class. I love that class. I love that class. That class has afforded me the opportunity to travel around the country. So far this year, I have spoken twice in Las Vegas. I speak about you. I bring your abilities and the awesome things that we are bringing to the program that you are going to be trained in, that nobody else will. Like, we had the very first Cold Case Institute in the country that functions the way it does. Now I know we have it. There are at least two that function the way we do, because I helped Cleveland set up the other one. So, but traveling around like that, I have met, like, my phone, I can pick up and I can call FBI agents, I can call John Walsh, I can call his son Callahan, who now runs everything. Um, I have major players in my phone because I'm willing to spread my wings. What's the worst somebody can do? Say no. What's the worst that can happen? I get up on stage and I forget what I'm supposed to talk about. So that has afforded me the opportunity to meet interesting people, and I will bring them to you. This semester, well, fall semester, I am hoping to bring at least two very famous individuals to school to speak to you, but I will constantly be having people Zoom with us. And they have Facebook friended some of the students, and they will work on homework assignments with them. The student can call them and interview them for their research. So, cool opportunities. And I'm always trying to make you guys, one, I want to look good, but two, I want you to do these big things, because I want you guys to get the accolades. I want you guys to get the jobs. I'm very big about our IRSC criminal justice students, that you're the biggest, the best, the craziest, you could, okay, I'm competitive when it comes to that. You guys are better than every other CJ student in the entire universe. I do kind of like say that all the time. uh, but so aside from the Cold Case Institute, I've also done 12 TV shows for Oxygen at this point, and am in negotiations with a major network for a show that has not, the show has been greenlit. We have been chosen for it. It's whether or not we can come to an agreement on how it's to be done, because students will be involved. So that is in negotiations, and if that happens, filming wouldn't start until spring semester of 23. So again, look, that's another cool thing we're trying to do that you can put on your resume that who's else is going to have that on their resume when they go for a job. Okay. And it is very CJ oriented. So it's not like I'm putting you on Big Brother or Jersey Shore or something like that. No, it's very, very cool and very CJ. Speaking around the country, uh, I just got invited to speak in the Hamptons. Okay, I'm a I grew up a poor girl from Ohio. I'm gonna speak in the Hamptons? I'm freaking out already. It's not until September. I don't even know what I'm gonna wear. But you know what? If I can run into Stephen King or something like that, dude, I'm bringing him back for you guys. So he's not reading us any bedtime stories because that would terrify us. But, you know, he's not necessary. He is in a true crime world, but he's also in the fictitious world. But for you to be able to have that opportunity, for me, I'm telling you, I know where he eats ice cream. I'm gonna be eating ice cream and gaining weight every day. Uh, what else? CrimeCon. I speak at CrimeCon every year. Next year it is going to be in Orlando, and we are hoping to take a massive amount of students from IRSC because it's the first time it'll be in our backyard. And we are going big on our presentation, myself and Mr. Pacheco, who work very closely together. So look into crimecon.com if you're interested because the earlier you get the tickets, the cheaper they are. And then I also, once some of you guys start to buy tickets, I can call in and say, hey, what's my discount code this year? And I'm pretty sure I already know what it's going to be, but you know, that'll we'll start with 10% off, and the more of you that buy, then the discount will go up. And last but not least, Mr. Pacheco and I have our own podcast. It's called Murders and Mysteries with Massnick. It usually follows a criminal case, a serial killer. We get very detail oriented with the victims. We go out, we find the victims' family, friends, this, that. We interview because who's more important to me? The victim.
I
Okay.
didn't get that. Could you try again?
No, Siri, you shouldn't be interrupting us. So see,
Sorry. Could you repeat what you said?
I'm gonna tell Siri something. Um, so that is an amazing opportunity. You will be walking the hallways, and you'll be walking by Nancy Grace. You'll be walking by Paul Holes, who caught the Golden State serial killer. You'll be walking by. The names are just, you know, Dr. Phil. If you're, he's been there 1 year. Callahan Walsh is coming most of the time now. So there's lots of, and you can sit down and talk to those people. If you're a victims' rights advocate, I sat down and had a 2 hour conversation with Natalie Holloway's mom. So those are experiences and opportunities. Yes, you're paying to go away for the weekend in your hotel. Go shack up in an Airbnb with everybody. Who cares about staying at the actual venue? Okay, it's Orlando. Uh, but those are once in a lifetime opportunities. Okay, the people that were on Don't F with Cats, the big Netflix show, they were there the last 2 years. So that's kind of what I do. So, and then I just spoke with a detective in Palm Beach County this morning when they identified a body last month. And Pierre, who I'll call P cubed half the time, P cubed and I are being officially, hopefully we'll get the word next week, but we are being invited to help work on that case because it's a case I've worked on for over 20 years. And then they want to bring to us on the podcast, which will allow everybody to help a bunch of their unsolved cases. So, that again, you're going to hear me say it all the time, and you're going to hate it. Looks amazing on your resume. Okay? I worked on a case, I helped with this, I did research, I worked with this agency, whatever. So, don't send out any applications for jobs unless your resume has gone through me or Mr. Pacheco, because there are certain ways that we want the criminal justice ones set up. And that is based on him going to a conference every year and finding out what the field puts out as most relevant and current, because you have less than 10 seconds to catch somebody's attention. Okay? So, if you need me, I'm here, I'm around, and who knows where the next video will come from. The next one will probably come from here later today, talking about, well, actually, I already did it in this lecture, so I won't do one for Module 1. But, yeah, when you answer that question about the law and affecting racial issues, it doesn't have to be black and white. I gave you a whole bunch of them examples today. You can come up with your own as well. All right? Have a great day. It's Thursday. Get ready to enjoy your weekend. And that's it. Talk to you later.